Test, test. Is this thing on? Okay. And now, for those in attendance and those listening around the world, it is time for the O on God podcast with your host, Tovaun Anthony.
What's good in the world, everybody? It's your boy Tovaun Anthony, and welcome to another episode of the O on God podcast. I just got back from New York, had a crazy weekend. I need to go back up there. I didn't know upstate New York was so green, but today I'm here to have a chat with the superstar, the amazing, the mega, the master of the riffing of the, I don't know what I'm going to say here. I'm just saying dumb stuff at this point. Nah, everybody, welcome my brother Suli, everybody.
What's happening? How's everybody doing?
Man, I was about to say some dumb stuff that had to do with music, like specifically metal and blues. Like, and I was just like, where am I going? I'm going to lose. But shoot, man.
It's all applicable.
Especially with like how we met.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, because like way back when, because what venue was that?
That was Villain and Saint in Bethesda, Maryland.
Are they gone?
I think they are, unfortunately. And they were around for a long time. I think COVID probably was the straw that broke the camel's back with them.
Yeah, that's
a good spot.
No, I actually like the venue.
Yeah.
Especially my first time there when they took us back to the green room, how it's underground.
Yeah, you got to go outside and go around. I'm like, where?
I remember we were walking and I was looking left and right. I'm like, this is a slaughterhouse. I know this is a slaughterhouse.
Where are you taking me? What's the ingredients in those burgers y'all serving?
Exactly. And this is like my second. Was it second? Yeah, no, it was like my second experience with performing with In Dog Years I'm Dead.
Okay.
When they were a band. So this is like my second time meeting Cam. And when they took us down that thing, I'm like, I don't know where we going. I was like, I'm lucky I got Yusuf with me. He big. We can maybe do something. They opened up the door, all the smoke came out. I'm like,
oh.
I was like, oh, they lit. They lifted. Man, Hey, good times, man. Good times.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Shoot, man. What have you been up to lately, man? You still training? You still doing what you need to do?
Yes, training. I had like a little smoker fight kind of a situation, and I lost, unfortunately. But I had messed up my leg, my knee, so I took probably like a month off. But I just got back on the mats probably, I would say last week. So it's probably been about 4 or 5 times that I've been training since I took a month or so off. So.
Okay. Let me backtrack real quick. For those that do not know, outside of being a musician, another thing we share in common is we are martial artists. He is more of a martial artist than me.
I'm just older. That's all that is.
Accolades. Black belt. No, mixed martial artist. Mainly jiu-jitsu practitioner, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, the last, I would say 7 or 8 years, I've been really focused on striking. But yeah, jiu-jitsu is my foundation, definitely. Yeah. I got my black belt in 2013. So yeah. I got bored of it. So yeah, it's just so much on your back and grabbing gis and all that stuff. It's just like, I want to punch somebody in the face.
Specifically, it's like, nah, you don't want none of this. I tell anybody, now granted, you've been in the game longer than me, but I tell anybody, hey man, I really want to get in the strike and do X, Y, Z. I'm like, all right, do a little bit of that. But you don't want to be like this. Getting up in there, getting your head banged every day. Look,
yeah, jiu-jitsu is. I mean, you can do it for a long time though. So, but a lot of people have like back problems and just all knee problems and stuff. Like, I've been lucky. I don't really have any major medical issues. So a lot of people have problems, but it's been so far so good for me.
I mean, hey, look. Half of y'all injuries are the same as wrestlers' injuries, man. It's like, oof. Well, I mean, out of all that freaking pulling and grabbing, and it's like, first of all, you're twisting the body every which way the normal person probably doesn't. So, yeah, man, it's kind of nuts. So, how long have you been training in general?
Probably, I would say probably probably 30, 35 years. Yeah, because I'm 45. I started doing like Taekwondo and I did Kung Fu for a while. I started all that stuff like before I was a teenager, like 8, 9, 10 years old. So yeah. And yeah, I've been training pretty consistently since then. I've always been doing something. So
Yeah, man. I mean, look, that's pretty cool. I mean, man, you've been training longer than I've been alive. Like, wait a minute. I had no idea you were in your 40s, bro. Like, I had no clue. Like, at all.
I told you I was older.
Well, I mean, so when we first met, the show we met at, I was wearing Beta Academy's t-shirt.
Yeah.
And you had walked up like, hey, wait a minute.
Yep.
And it turned out you knew Knock.
Yep.
So I'm like,
Knock was one of the. When I started training at Evolve Academy, Knock had already gone. He was actually, at the time, he had stopped training and started doing, I think, like ballroom dancing, competitive. Did you notice about it?
I had no idea. Hold up.
He was like a competitive. He stopped training. He was one of Master Mike's just super protege. I mean, he was one of the first guys that knew how to do the jiu-jitsu, that knew the striking. And this is like early 2000s. You know, he was one of the first guys. He was one of the bigger prospects that came out of that whole organization and that camp. And you know, he just was an expert in every category in martial arts. But I think he had gotten injured and decided to kind of put it to the side for a little bit. But yeah, he was like doing some competitive, like ballroom, like some real. Ask him about it next time you see him.
I'm definitely going to do that. I'm like, sir, I didn't know you knew a thing or two about foot stepping.
And apparently he was really, he really, took it to a whole nother level. So I mean, imagine, as good as he is in martial arts, just imagine putting that same type of effort in anything else. He's going to be good at it. So yeah. That's what he was doing.
But that's literally the last thing I would have thought anybody would have said. Like, it makes sense, but I would not have thought of that at all.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Good God
so
almighty.
Yeah, by the time I was at Evolve, he had already gone. So we knew of him, and from time to time he would stop by. I mean, he stopped by and did a couple seminars and stuff like that. But he wasn't there when I started training there, but everybody knew who he was. So.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's on my list. I'm doing it. Oh man, dang. The more you know about people. Okay, let's jump a little bit into music.
Okay.
Right. So the first time I ever saw you perform, like with your band, like. The first thing I thought, because I knew it was a metal show, and then I come in there and I'm like, this is like the perfect fusion of my version of what I like in the blues and just heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And on top, well, here's the thing. Anybody that sings and plays guitar at the same time, you already got my respect because I jump on and off for doing that because I be thinking too much. And I don't know why I made that sound, but
that's a new tone. You got a new plug-in.
No man. How long have you been doing the music thing? How long have you guys been a band? And just how's it been?
It's been pretty good. This band, I've been in multiple bands. I started off rapping. And then what happened was I was at the studio and the producer had a guitar there. He was a friend of mine. And I was like, yo, what's going on with that guitar? So while everybody was just kind of rapping their verses, I was over in the corner just kind of messing around with it. And then he was like, yeah, I never use that. If you want to borrow it for something, just go ahead and borrow it. So, and I was like, bet. So I didn't even know how to tune it. I tuned the guitar like 4th fret, 4th fret, 4th fret, 4th fret, 4th fret. And I wrote like 5 songs on it. Went to the studio and recorded. I wrote it. Had this little finger picking style that I came up with, and I came up with like 4 or 5 songs in like a matter of, I would say, like three months or something. And went to the studio, recorded them. I was rapping while I was doing this little finger picking thing. So I recorded those songs, and then I met a couple other guys that played guitar. And they were like, yeah, you should take lessons. So I got up with my guitar teacher, who was my guitar teacher. Shout out Ed Bills. Haven't seen him in a while. He's up in New York. He was in a band called Animal Farm. But he got with him and took lessons from him for like 15 years. And he just basically taught me everything I know on the guitar. And then from there, I mean, initially I was into hip hop. And then I started to getting into more, I guess, musical, if you want to call it that, stuff, like neo soul kind of stuff. Then I got into jazz, and then I started to kind of like my ears, like, heavier music started to catch my ear. And one time I was talking to one of my guitar teacher's other students, and he told me about this band called Caius. So he was like, yo, you haven't heard of Caius? He's like, yeah, Caius, this guy. And so I went and bought a couple CDs. And then I went to my guitar teacher and I was like, dude, how come you never told me about Caius? He was like, I didn't know you was into this kind of stuff. And then he just threw the whole book at me. He was like, oh, you like this? Then you're going to like this. Then you're going to like this. So I really started to get into the heavier music from Caius. And that was like, I mean, because they were doing like a little jammy. It was like jamming. The guitar tones were pretty warm. It was basic, simple blues riffs. And it was just kind of perfect combination of just groove, heaviness, melodicness. It's perfect. So from there, I started to listen to a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, the first band that I was in, I played bass, and that was like a blues rock band.
Okay. And
then that band broke up. I guess I'll give you the short version of it. Started playing bass, played guitar in another project, All the while I was just playing guitar, lead guitar or rhythm guitar, and singing backup vocals. But all the bands kept breaking up. And I'm like, all the material that you put all your sweat and effort into just gets swept under the rug and gone. I'm like, listen, I can sing, so let me try to write some my own stuff. So I wrote a bunch of songs, went to the studio, recorded them. I played everything on the album except for drums. My producer played the drums. And that's kind of where Marshall Fuzz kind of started off. That was like my own project. And then, I got some guys together. We worked on the songs, started playing, but then things didn't really hit the ground with Marshall Fuzz until I moved up I was already moved in Frederick, but until I started hanging out in the music scene in Frederick, Maryland. So that's where it kind of hit the ground running. It was like the perfect storm. I had the right people, the right environment, the right vibe. And, since then it's been great. I can't complain. I mean, I get to kind of live like a 20-something-year-old life. I get another chance to kind of do the stuff that I didn't do when I was younger. So, yeah.
Hey, I mean, that's pretty freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I mean, you're right about like Frederick in general, like the music scene out there is very receptive to metal.
It
is very receptive to heavy music.
It is.
I'm still learning that, like after I joined Amongst the Triffids, hanging out with Cam and all them, and I'm like, I didn't know it was like this out here. Shoot.
It is.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, it's like also I feel like I have a little bit of a responsibility to keep it, because when COVID kind of just kind of disrupted everything. So, when the smoke kind of cleared with COVID, this landed over here, this landed over there. the market has got really, really saturated. But then the market is saturated with just like cover bands and people singing pop tunes or top 40 type things. So, and then a lot of the venues and a lot of the scene kind of was in a place where they didn't really have a home. Like back then we had Guido's, 611. Well, 611 is like unless you have a really, really good bill, it's hard to pack that place. But we had like places like Guido's and now Cafe Nola, they started doing music again, so they're back. But it's the scene is there, the bands are there, the reception is there. But after COVID, it was kind of like, where are we going to do this? But now all of those pieces are kind of coming together up there again. So it's all, we got so many different, like there's a donut place that does metal shows now. Somebody's got a house. They got this big house that they do metal shows right in their living room. So there's a lot of different stuff that's up and coming. And it looks like it for a while it looked like it was going to fizzle down, but now it's kind of amping back up. So
hey, look, it won't die so long as the people don't let it.
Absolutely.
Like, you got to invest in your scene, man.
Absolutely.
You got to invest in your scene, because I remember when I came home from Florida, like after college, it was about 2011, and I was playing in one band. It was more like a alternative rock group, and the other one was metal. I'm like finding places to play metal. It was something else. We were either going deep out in Virginia or some part of Maryland that I can't even pronounce. And I'm just like, yo, where are we?
And then you go out of these places, and it's like only people there are the bands. You know what I mean? It's like I think the problem is that everybody is doing their thing separately. Somebody's doing something over here, somebody's doing something, and nobody's collectively moving together. And I think that's really, because if everybody moved collectively together, we could pack up these venues no problem, So
I do believe that. I believe that because I know with amongst the Triffids, they have, relationships with other bands like Half Heard Voices, Purveyor, and all of them. And it's like to the point, if they're on any bill and somebody drops out, anything like that, we get information real quick. And because we kind of run it like a family type deal, it's easier for us to move together. And I wish, not gonna lie, like this is kind of like the first time I'd ever been in this situation, because I'm so used to people either being really cliquish or everybody kind of has the gun pointed at someone else's back. And it's just like, guys, if y'all want to actually make this work, we kind of have to work together. Yes, everybody's in it for themselves.
Absolutely.
And take care of yourself. I'm not telling you not to take care of yourself. But if you think the best way to do this is for you to try to like hold the burden of a scene by yourself, No, you're going to lose. You're going to lose.
I think COVID was a wake-up call. I mean, that showed people that, hey, listen, this thing that you guys are taking for granted, this thing that's always been there, hey, there's something can happen and it's not there anymore. It was a wake-up call for a lot of folks. And the folks that are bouncing back now, they know with conviction that, hey, I don't ever want to lose this ever again. So they're doing the stuff, and they're networking with the people that they never would have networked with. And it was a humbling experience, because the bands that had gotten to a certain level that were looking down on everyone else, that weren't returning phone calls when you would hit them up about gigs, those guys are, everybody's on the same plane right now. So, it was a good thing in hindsight, you know.
A lot of people are being a lot more receptive nowadays. I'll go to shows, and it's a lot easier to walk up to somebody like, "Hey, what's good?" Or they'll come up to you now. Like beforehand, everybody gotta be the cool guy in the back with the hands folded. They don't say a word to you till after you perform, and they're like, "Oh, okay," stuff like that. But no, you're absolutely right. The pandemic, it definitely lit a fire like under a lot of people, because I know specifically with the VGM, the video game music and cover scene and stuff like that. We took to the internet real quick, like with streaming and all that stuff, because we're so used to playing at conventions, coming together at conventions. That wasn't a thing. So it's like, what do we do? And we had a couple of guys put things together, like the bonus stage guys. Josh, shout out to you. Like they were putting together events, VGM together, putting together events for people to get together and see these guys that they were seeing perform. And like people, they had to talk, they had to network. Okay, well, what do you do? Like a lot of people weren't ready for streaming, like especially full bands. So it was like, so how do you guys do this? Now we all got to talk to each other. So and luckily, like for Yusuf and I, that was something we were preparing for well before that.
You guys were doing that way before pandemic, because you guys was
because we were already like in a place where it's like, all right, bro, we be mixing stuff up a lot. A lot of the times people have no idea where to put us. So what do we do? I don't know. Let's stream. Okay, let's figure this out. And we were going through trial and error. And then once the pandemic hit, it was like, well, we kind of ready. Let's do it. We ran with it. So yeah, man. But no, you're absolutely right. And it's like the amount of creativity that's come out of the pandemic too. It literally made people stop being lazy when it came to their art. I'm gonna tell you that. Man, but shoot. Let's see. Something else we can touch on real quick. Going back to art, martial arts again. What like you know, everybody knows me. If you watch me, listen to me, everybody knows I'm a big old MMA fan. Kickboxing fan. I'm just a fight fan in general. That's why I make funny videos about it, which are kind of like in weird taste. My mother always goes, Tovaun. But yeah, man, like what's going on with you nowadays as far as like indulging in like certain sports? Like what are you watching now?
I mean, it's hard for me now to follow anything kind of seriously. Even MMA, which I am a huge fan of, I don't keep up with the latest card. Like I mean, apparently there was a fight this weekend or last night. I didn't catch it. I usually catch it after the fact on clips from Facebook and kind of put all the pieces together as far as what happened and stuff. It's just hard to follow. I probably should do a little bit better in following that stuff. But I like mixed martial arts. I like boxing. And that's it. Like football, basketball, I don't follow none of that stuff. I think is it when I used to live overseas, I lived in the Middle East for 3 years.
You military? What's going on?
No. My mom sent me over there to study religion, to be like an Islamic cleric. So I was in Iran for 3 years. But when I was overseas and they would be playing basketball and they were picking the teams, it's like, okay, we're gonna take the tall black American dude. And after the game, they want me to run my passport, my birth certificate, like, yo, you are not American. Keep the ball away from that dude.
Like, first of all, y'all assume. Y'all saw me over here with a book. Y'all think.
Yeah, it was, but yeah, I just wasn't into sport. I mean, yes, I was, but I just didn't really, no other sport really touched me like martial arts, because martial arts for me is like a tool of empowerment. I mean, when I was younger, I used to get bullied, it was just I had a lot of fear. And I just knew, I got sick of feeling like a bitch, to be honest with you. I got sick of that. And I'm like, I need to learn how to take up for myself. So for me, martial arts is more than just a sport. It's just, it's my weapon that allows me to be the person that I am, to be the nice person that I want to be. I don't have to walk around, looking like a thug and being extra intimidating and things like that. I can smile and walk around and smile and talk to people and be genuine and loving without fearing that somebody's going to look at that and say, hey, this dude's a punk, this dude's soft, let me go smack him up, So that's really what that's the main thing that it means to me. Like going into a room, and not that I size people up when I go into a room, but I do size people up when I go into a room. Like you go into a room, it's like, yo, can't nobody in here whoop my ass, so I'm free to be whatever the fuck I want to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, can I curse?
You can. It's whatever on my show. Oh man, no, I definitely feel that. I'm the same way until I'm in a room with you knocking all them, and like that's when I'm like, all right, well, I'm surrounded by people that can whip my ass.
We're all boys, though.
Yeah, no, we all cool. No, there's definitely a security that comes with it, man.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I didn't deal with bullying too much. Any bully that I had, I kind of punched him in the face. I was just that kid. I had a temper issue, so that was one of the reasons why it was better for me to start doing martial arts. Granted, and this is where like the other sports and stuff come in. When I was younger, and my mother put me in Taekwondo. She saw me playing basketball and stuff with my friends and whatnot. And, it seemed like my interest was in other places. That wasn't the case. It's just the rest of my friends are doing this.
Yeah.
I'm the only one here, from my community. So it was what it was. So I got away from it for a little while, but then I got back to it. But yeah, no, it definitely helps from a security standpoint, philosophy standpoint, everything,
Absolutely.
man. It's great. I'm not gonna be one of the people to say it's the end all be all for everything.
No,
it is not. But it does give you a good base. It gives you a good base, and more than likely you'll be surrounded by people that put you in a place where you got to be convicted to deal with your problems. Like you can't run from it.
Yes,
you can't run from it. So it's a good thing.
And music, a lot of people are like, oh, you do this. Like, I mean, I don't have to tell you, but music and martial arts really go hand in hand. Philosophically, it's just, just the work ethic that's involved in perfecting what it is that you're doing. Same thing applies musically. Just all around, they're almost like a right and a left hand for each other. It really goes hand in hand. It's like when people say, "Oh, you do this and you do that," I'm like, how could you not do this and not do that? And you know what I mean? Martial arts helps you understand music that much more, and music helps you understand martial arts that much more. Even like when you're getting your rhythm and stuff like that, and how it's like, and it's like the same thing that applies rhythmically with music. You have a little bit of a rhythm when you're with your footwork and all that stuff. And every time I've seen all the parallels, I find another parallel, another similarity, another place where it's almost one and the same for me,
No, I can completely understand that. That's why, I apply music theory to when I'm training in a way, specifically with Muay Thai, it's very rhythmic, very rhythmic. It's almost like a dance. You can kind of get lost in it, right? And there are times where I'm just like, how can I put music in this? Like, I remember I was sparring a guy, and it seemed like he pretty much got my rhythm, and I'm like, I'm gonna start thinking in sevens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And he's like, yo, what the hell? I'm like, yeah, this that switch up. You don't know about
jazz.
Yes, indeed. Ding, 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 ding. But yeah, no, look, it's art. It's a form of expression. Both are forms of expression. I look at music and martial arts, fighting, music. I look at both of them as ultimate forms of expression because it's like what's in you is going to come out.
Absolutely.
100%. Nope.
Cannot hide it. When you get on stage, if you didn't practice, you're going to look like a fool. When
Did you pay the price?
Absolutely.
Did you pay the price?
Can't hide.
100%. If you, like you said, you get on stage, you didn't practice, or you get on stage, you try to do something or be somebody you ain't.
That's right.
Like, it's going to show. Just like you get in that ring with somebody and now you want to act like the fool in the room.
Yep.
It's going to show. Absolutely. And you're going to be exposed.
Absolutely.
Like, nah, man. If you ain't Billy Badass, just be Billy.
Absolutely.
Just be Billy. But, yeah, man. I mean, back to following martial arts and stuff, or competitive martial arts. I deep dive into it every week because I kind of have to, with the whole rap thing and stuff like that. Which, hey, music, martial arts, that was like my whole thing. That was kind of like my way into making conversations with people on the internet.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I know I do music and I'm trying to talk to people on Twitter and they're telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's because I'm new to this thing, right? You got internet trolls. And I'm like, well, music's kind of been my way of getting into almost anything else. Let me see if I can do something here, rap about a couple fighters, and now everybody likes me. It's like, okay, I guess that worked out.
Yeah.
But I could be genuine with it. I could be genuine as I want with it because these are my actual thoughts that I'm putting on whatever beat I made at the time, and it works out. And I think it's helped because people got to get a genuine side of me. They got to get that, and I'm like, I'm glad this was portrayed.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. But shoot, man, you got any plans like for like new shows?
Well, we're working on a new album. Yep, it's almost done. We got all the guitars except for it's gonna be 10 songs. All of the guitars except for 2 songs are done. And I have a violin player, and so most of the violin and is done. Vocals, only thing left really is vocals on, I would say, probably about 60% of the record. So, I mean, we are probably 90% done with tracking at least. So it's going to be dope. It's a kind of a concept situation. My artist that's doing the artwork, they're creating like comic squares for each song. So it's going to kind of follow a storyline from song to song. So and the music is great. These are songs that during the pandemic, I was writing songs. I was like, okay, I was just writing these songs, recording them, just either my vocals and guitar, either electric guitar or acoustic guitar, and putting them on YouTube just so I can, just document them. So I wrote about 11 songs, and we used maybe about 7 of them for the new record. So yeah, it's everybody is stoked and excited about it. The band is like, we're not even concerned about gigs at this point. We just want to get this record done. It feels like just the best thing that personally that I've been a part of ever. So I'm really stoked about it.
Oh man, dude, that's wonderful to hear, man. You guys have a name for the record yet?
Not yet. We want to come up with the whole thing and then see how it flows and then name it accordingly.
Okay. I mean, that's freaking cool though. I love concept records, man. If you could tell a story like from beginning to end, that you already got me. Yeah, you already got me.
But what I did years ago, I did me and a producer friend of mine, we did a concept album, and we got a little carried away with the what do you call it, like the with the like the dialogues in between and stuff like that, and it just kind of went way too far, and so we ended up having to scrap all of the interludes and all of that stuff and just kind of strip it down and go basic. So this time we're not going to overdo it. We're going to let the artist kind of do the visual and let the music flow the way it flows, and just let it, and the music. I guess what I learned from that is that let the music tell a story. Don't try to tell a story for the music. You know what I mean? And so we won't be making that mistake with this one. So.
It's easy to get carried away, man. It really is, especially like when it comes to the creative process. Is you want to go as deep as possible. Yeah. It's just the truth. Like for me, like from what I'm influenced by standpoint, it's like I come from like. I really, really liked musicals, plays, and stuff like that. So, like, the idea of a whole bunch of dialogue, stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, all right. And it's just, you got to know when to cut certain things off or, like, just, I'm not saying limit yourself. It's just more like, okay, what's going to be best for what we're doing right now?
For the project, yeah.
Exactly. Like, when I was recording when I was getting ready to perform at MagFest, and I was recording the series Road to MagFest. When I originally wrote the script, like for that entire series, when I tell you,
wow,
like I was like, this ain't gonna happen.
You had like, what did you have? You had like 6 episodes leading up to there?
Yeah, which I still have yet to put out the epilogue. I'm sorry, guys. But nah, it's coming, trust me. It's actually it's coming this week. But yeah, like, nah, man, it was just so much. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna fit this into episodes that are supposed to be so long. And I'm like, all right, had to going like, okay, how does this work story wise? Let's go ahead and throw this out.
So this had you already filmed a lot of the script, or were you doing all this cutting and like the editing?
No. Thank God. Well, there was a good amount of that. There was still a good amount of that because after I originally wrote it, I was like, okay, what's possible in this time frame period, right? Because I had maybe 2 months before MagFest, and I had to figure out who exactly was going to have the time to do what I needed them to do. I had to get the gear, all this other stuff. So it was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and trim stuff down based on that. And then it came, okay, let's trim stuff down based on what could possibly happen. And then we finally got to record and everything, and I had so much footage, I was like, all right. And like the first episode, not the first, it was the second episode. That was actually twice as long as it was. And I'm like, this ain't gonna work out. Let me go ahead and trim this down. Wow. So I dealt with a good amount of that, but it's like you want to do it all. Yeah. You want to do it all because you have all these ideas in your head. And it's because it's coming from you. Sure. You're like, wait. How is this going to be taken? So, I mean, I definitely get that. That's one of the reasons why my album still hasn't come out, and I've been talking about that for over a while now. I'll just say a while.
Do you do a lot of your recording yourself?
Yeah. Normally, I record everything myself, like guitars, bass. I program everything else, even the drums, unless like it's something that I feel like should be very expressive. And then I'll call Yusef. He has his own setup at his house. And it's like, hey, man, do what you will with this. But normally he just plays live. But yeah, no.
And then for live, like are you using like digital plugins for your tones and things like that?
Like specifically for the guitar?
Yeah.
So early I did. I was going to my computer and utilizing Guitar Rig and all that stuff. And then we just realized at the time, now it's probably a little different, you know. But at the time, I'm like, this is not going to work on the road. Like if we keep going out, something might happen. So that's why we ended up getting, rigs that we would just take out to shows and whatnot. So like the only thing that's digital is just the backing tracks now. It's like whatever. If we don't have a bass player that day, then bass will be coming through there and synths. But then there are times like at MagFest where we'll have like essentially the full band, and we'll have a bass player, guitar player, and then I don't even have to play guitar half the time. But normally just me and Yusef, we up there. I'll play. That's how it works. It's kind of funny because back in April, Cave 611, there was a show. It was us, Half Her Voices, Purveyor, and Amongst the Triffids. And I think the headlining band was I Set My Friends on Fire. And of course, I had double duty that day because I'm doing my music and now I got to play
bass for
Amongst the Triffids. And I'm just like, oh man, this is about to be something else. Hopefully, I can remember everything. Oops. But no, I got up there and that was just a cool moment because a lot of people, they kind of realized like, oh, you don't just play the bass. Wait a minute, what do you do for this project? I'm like, oh yeah, no, I make everything. Yusef comes, he plays for me, but I make everything. So.
This one, a good friend of actually the person that records us, his band, they're called Marzi Maddox. They got all of their tones is like they play on a click track. And then everything is regimented. So they'll have all of the guitar tones is all on like a timer, like and then boom, boom, boom. After this many beats, then the guitar tone switches to this, where it comes in clean, and everything is regimented like that. And I'm like, goodness gracious, how you guys doing that?
I know a way of doing that, and I have utilized guitar rigs specifically to do that. But I just, I'm like, there are other, I think, more stable ways to go about that. I think they got it down to a T, to be honest with you. Because I forgot what band I was on the same show with them. I think it was amongst the Triffids that we played a show with Marzi. So, yeah.
Yeah, those guys are awesome.
They're very tight.
Shout out Marzi Maddox.
Very good, very good. Yeah. Actually, I think, are they playing the pool party with us this year? There's a secret pool party that isn't so secret.
They were telling me about that. Yes, they were telling me about that.
Hold up, I think because
they were telling me about that.
Like every year, like it's funny because it's supposed to be a secret pool party, but it's not so secret. It's secret to the point that nobody knows where it is except the people who are invited. But everybody knows what's happening at this point. It's just like, guys, I thought this was a secret. Like last year, it pretty much was. This year, I'm like, y'all posted about it. This is public. I'm like, y'all better not put up his address. I think they're on it this year. Because who else is on there? Because I know it's us. Oh, good God. It's probably so many people in this chat. It don't make no sense. It won't show me. Whatever. Oh, group members. Yep. Look like half heard voices amongst the Triffids. I think Marzi's on there.
I remember them telling me about this.
Yeah, because
Phoenix. There's Phoenix right there. Phoenix Johnson. Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
It's about to be a good day.
Yeah. When is that? I might have to stop by because he did invite me.
I know it's in July. Okay. I know that. I know it's in July. I think it's Otakon weekend. Okay. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Because I remember that was the only reason, because Aoxus was supposed to be on it too, but something might be happening, like where me and Yusuf might have to go to Otakon and do some things. Either way, I got to be there to perform, so I'm gonna be there with amongst the Triffids. But good times. And that's another thing about like the scene, right? It's like we can all get together and do stuff like that. And now it's a yearly thing. Yeah. Like, I freaking like it. Dude, come on by.
Yeah.
Definitely come on by and talk to the guys, because y'all need to be on it.
I'm coming. I'm going to be there. Because I was just talking about, because I'm over, like I said, Phoenix he records us. He's got his setup is official. But he was, when you said pool party, I'm like, we were just talking about that like a few weeks ago. He was telling me about that. So, and it's also a small world. I mean, it's the scene is just if you don't know someone, you know someone who knows someone. It's amazing. And then you'll meet somebody and it's like, when you look at like, wait a minute, how many times have we kind of passed paths and hadn't, it's like, we've been in the same room multiple times. We just hadn't crossed paths yet. It's crazy like that.
I got a story about that. About a guy, Chris. He goes by IQ. He's a rapper, but he and I officially met like right before MagFest a couple years ago. Yusuf's really tight with him, and I found out that, he had been in Orlando for a good amount of time. And I'm like, wait a freaking second. I'm like, do you go to this festival? Yeah, every year. Have you? Wait a minute. He friended me on Facebook. I saw everybody we had in common. I'm like, wait a second.
Wow.
I know we've been in the same room. Ain't no way in hell we ain't been in the same room. Because the whole like Orlando music scene, like that ozone, especially the hip hop scene, doesn't they call it the ozone? It's like everybody knows everybody.
Wow.
So I'm like, dang man, you're timing.
Yep.
That's how it goes. But no, you're absolutely right, especially up here. It is a very, very small world. Everybody knows everybody, and shoot, you'll branch off into different scenes like that.
Yeah.
There's some guys like in the metal scene, especially in Frederick or Baltimore, Frederick area, that half of them play events like MagFest, like in other groups. So I'm like, didn't know you were here.
Yeah, and I've been doing a lot of solo like acoustic guitar stuff.
Uh-oh.
And now like I've kind of tapped into this whole Americana scene. Like I've been playing gigs in DC with a friend of mine. His name is Eli Waltz. And then like if you hear my band playing electric, you would never guess it. But then acoustic, it's just funny how music is. When you strip it down, it basically is just all the same thing. And like when I started listening to metal, like I heard a lot because I was really into jazz. I heard a lot of similarities between jazz and metal. It wasn't like a far jump to go from jazz to metal. I'm like, they're shredding over here, they're shredding over here. Time signatures, crazy time signature changes here. Same thing here. It's just, it's no difference.
Might be plus or minus distortion. It just
Absolutely.
It's like no. Some things once you strip it down, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what got me into metal specifically. So I kind of had like a weird way in. I was always into classical music, like heavy into classical music. And then I started listening to like metal mainly because of anime. But I'm just like, oh, okay, bands, woo woo, they make anime opens. I'm happy. And I remember going to once I got to college, my best friend Los, he messaged me. He's like, yo, listen, because he wasn't into metal like that. But because of the stuff I was listening to, it kind of got him more into rock, and then he kind of ran with it, like ridiculously. And he's like, hey, dude, I know you're into classical music. Check out this band called Camelot. And I'm like, okay, whatever, right? I was hooked like a motherfucker because I ended up seeing their live DVD, One Cold Winter's Night. And it's like power metal, it's essentially classical music with a double pedal. That's really all it is.
Absolutely.
So it was that. Plus, they had like this weird theatrical like kind of thing going on. Like they were kind of playing characters in certain songs, and I'm like, oh, and that's what like just kind of sparked it for me. Now, so I'm listening to Opeth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, these guys are crazy. They do everything. So, no, music it translates. It translates, and you can ride the wave, and wherever you start. You think you're going to end somewhere similar? No, you ain't. It's going to be the opposite end of the spectrum. Freaking nuts, man. But shoot, man. Let's see. Getting back a little bit into like martial arts. I remember when you and I were at the Pentagram show.
Okay.
Because I want to bring this up because the last episode, my boy Jay Diggs, when we were in college together, he was 300 pounds and he lost a crap ton of weight. And, a lot of that came from just who he is as a person. And then he also got into martial arts and stuff as well. A little bit afterwards, doing a bit of Muay Thai. He did a little more jiu-jitsu. But we were talking about diet and stuff like that. I remember at the Pentagram show, you had mentioned a vegetarian or was it vegetarian or vegan diet?
A vegan. Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
Yep.
And I was looking at you like, I don't know. I don't think I could do that. What about my proteins? You said eat more. I'm like, eat more. Like my eating habits, shoot, man. But
the reason why I went why I went vegan, it just seemed to me to be the easiest way because I was getting up there in age. I've been vegan for about like 6 years now.
Okay.
I was, getting older and I'm like, I just wanted an easy formula. And it was something I was always thinking about. I was just like, I just kept seeing things, more reasons why I shouldn't eat meat, more reasons why I shouldn't eat meat. And it just seemed to me like the easiest way to eat healthier. And it's been life. I wish I'd done it a long time ago. It's been life changing. I'd probably would have aged a lot quicker in the last 6 years that I've been vegan, especially at the age that I'm at right now. If I would have aged a lot quicker had I not gone vegan. And that's really the motivation. I mean, I can't lie to people and say that that I'm an animal activist or anything. I don't lose. I mean, morally, I do think that that the animals suffer and you shouldn't. But I would be lying if I said I'm losing sleep over animals. So I can't really claim that.
Yeah.
My motivation have been more so for my own health purposes. So, but it works out. Now nowadays they got so much of the meat products. Now I gotta watch that stuff. That stuff is almost as bad as the meat, So,
oh yeah, the vegan meat.
Yeah,
stuff.
the Beyond and the Impossible.
Yeah,
and
you
all
gotta
that
be careful
stuff.
with that.
Yeah, so it's like but it's good for the transition. I mean, I would say now anything that you like to eat meat-wise, you can get something very similar and close to it, And what I notice is that, like some stuff like a burger or maybe like a cold cut sandwich, a lot of what makes the sandwich what it is the fixings that you put on the sandwich.
Yes.
The piece of avocado, the tomato, the lettuce, the sauce, the onion, all of those things. So, when you like, say you make a sandwich, instead of making the piece of meat, when you're trying to do it vegan, instead of making that like the centerpiece, make the fixings the centerpiece, and you end up kind of touching on the same kind of, I guess, palate that, the taste that you have or the craving that you have for meat, you end up being able to satisfy that by concentrating on the fixings instead of trying to imitate a thick, Kobe beef burger, you know what I mean? So.
No, I understand that. Like, there's variations for everything nowadays, man.
Sure.
All you gotta do is do a little research and experiment, man. Because even when I don't know if I told you about like before my first smoker, what I ended up doing, like I think for the first 3 weeks, I ain't eating any red meat. I think I went like straight up pescatarian, and then like the last week and a half or last 2 weeks, I was pretty much vegetarian. So, and I felt really good. Like I feel really good. And that's when I realized like, okay, so one is the quality of like food that I was eating, because I was eating like shit. Like I would get steaks from the worst type of place, right? And
from the Wawa,
man, you see a Wawa brand steak, oh no,
Wawa sirloin,
that thing already comes brown. You like, ooh, nah, man, I was getting everything from the wrong places, and it's just like, nah, man, you get good quality foods, you'll be able to, you'll be all right.
Yeah,
you'll be all right.
I'm not, and the thing is, I'm not one of those kind of heavy sticker to eat. Everybody to each their own. And like for me, like with meat, I think the main problem with meat, with animal products, is the amount of energy and time that it takes your body to digest it. That is the main thing. It takes a long time, so it ends up staying places, sticking in places, and causing inflammation. But on the flip side, like my approach to diet, when people ask me for diet advice, instead of concentrating on what you shouldn't eat, concentrate on what you should eat. If you have the right things in your diet, you give your body the tools that it needs to flush out anything that's bad. For instance, I can take a fat-filled burger and put half of an avocado on it, and the fibers from that avocado will help me pass that through my system. So I'm able to take the proteins that I get from that burger and not have the bad that comes with it, because the avocado takes care of getting it through my system and helping my body break it down.
It's all puzzle pieces, man.
Yeah,
you just got to figure out. You can't I remember I had someone, because you know me, I'll cook and put stuff on my Instagram page all the time. Like, man, you like cooking yourself up a steak? I'm like, yeah, but I don't eat it every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, you out your mind? You have any idea what would happen to me?
Yeah.
Sodium, first of all.
Yeah.
Because you season the steaks, man. Like, like if I'm not eating right, what I consider right, specifically for my body, right? If I take a thick old steak and eat that during a week, I'll wake up dehydrated, sluggish, everything on the in between,
Yes.
and then I'm just like, oh yeah, I need to eat a salad, or oh wait, yeah, just need to bring in the greens, bring in the fiber, bring in everything. Like it's what you. Everything has a consequence.
Yes.
Everything has a consequence.
Everything.
So, especially when it comes to what you put in your body. So, be careful. Like, definitely be careful. And, do what works for you.
Yeah.
Like, do what works for you. There are still times that I will literally switch up.
Yeah.
I'll be vegetarian for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
If I feel like that's kind of what I need at the time, I might have been overdoing
to
it.
your body. I mean, the more your ears are open to what your body's trying to tell you, the more you're able to understand the language that your body is speaking to you. The more that you keep your eyes and your ears open, say, hey, wait a minute. When I ate this happened. When I did this, that happened. And you'll notice it, and you'll be able to notice and see the signs a lot better next time. And everybody has options. You can go in McDonald's and be like, all right, I'm in McDonald's. This is where I'm going to eat something, and you still have an option. I can take the nasty pink slime chicken nuggets, or I can have the set.
Let me guess, you saw that documentary way back when they grinded up So my boy Los, the guy I was talking about before that told me who Camelot was, he used to work at KFC when we were in college. And he was like, I need to tell you something. It's chicken, but it ain't the part of chicken you think it is. So, I was like, what you mean? He was like, yeah, we got eyeballs, we got the feet, we got I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, what you mean? So when you say the nasty pinks,
yeah. You could eat that, or you could eat the salad, and you could even one of my favorite fast food places to go to is Taco Bell.
Yeah.
They got the veggie bowls. I can get a burrito with no cheese in it, and no sour cream, and that'd be it. That's pretty healthy. It's going to be nothing but like lettuce and tomatoes, and
essentially,
and some avocado. The guacamole's got the avocado in it. So yeah, you can go anywhere. You always have an option. You always have an option.
For a while, Taco Bell was considered like, what was it, the healthiest fast food chain?
I think it's still it. I mean, I can't see which other one would be healthier.
Like, unless you consider Subway got a
Subway has.
It was up there for a minute.
Yeah, something. But lately, there's been some reports about like the cold cuts have been a little suspect.
Yeah,
something's going on with Subway.
All I know, and this might not have anything to do with like studies or nothing, but the last 2 times I went to Subway, I left with a headache. So I'm like, I don't know, something ain't right here. But yeah, man. No, you're right though. You always have an option. You can strip things down. You can supplement things. You can make it work. You can make it work for you. Funny thing when you mentioned the salad from McDonald's, I remember I forgot where I was, but it was one fitness dude. I was around him, and he said he was told that getting a salad from McDonald's is like going up to a sex worker and asking for a kiss. And I was like,
Yeah,
I was like, Slim.
Not even a tongue kiss.
I was like, all right, man, I'll just go to Chopped.
But if you're there, let's say if
if that's your only option, go ahead and get
it. It might not be the best option across the board, but it's the best option that you have in front of you.
Yeah, yes, it did. Yes, it did.
He said it's like you're going up to a prostitute and asking for a kiss. Well, how much for just one kiss?
Like just like that old Chris Rock scene, like one rib.
Yeah.
One rib? Oh my gosh. But yeah, man. Do what you need to do. Like Suli says, listen to your body. Definitely listen to your body. Especially like, man, you got injuries going around. You might have to go on a low inflammation diet.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. That helped me when I busted my freaking foot up. It definitely helped. I saw a difference. But yeah, man, that's just what it is. Let's see. Anything else you want to talk about? Any other updates when it comes to the group?
That's it. I mean, we're playing at Cafe 611 this coming Friday. We're playing at Cafe 611.
I'm going.
And,
I am available.
We're doing. That's going to be full of, because we do we do the the regular electric kind of heavy thing, but we also we have a stripped down version of what we do without a drummer, acoustic guitar, acoustic violin. You hear more of the vocals. It's more of an intimate thing. So we're going to be at Cafe Nola July 16th, playing with an Americana band and kind of like a blues band on the 16th. For that gig, it's going to be acoustic, no drummer. So yeah, it's we like trying to do different things. We had about a month ago we did a That 90s show at Cafe Nola, which was we learned a bunch of 90s tunes. We did Britney Spears, Snoop Dogg, obviously the grunge stuff, the Alice in Chains. But yeah, and we're starting to work on material to do a That 80s show, which as of now we know one song from the 80s, so we got a lot of work to do. So
oh dear.
yeah, so but we like doing fun things. We write original stuff, and that's why I like playing with my bandmates, because they're just down for whatever. We like to have fun. We like to write stuff. We like to get heavy. We like to get we've been really working on harmonies, the vocal aspect of it. So, and I'm really proud of that part, because both my violin player and bass player have really stepped it up. They get together by themselves and work out harmonies and stuff like that. So it's really cool to hear what they come up with vocally, just to kind of back up when I'm singing. So yeah, a lot of stuff coming, but the main thing is this record. We're with that. That's where we're putting most of our focus in. We want to hurry up and finish that, because when you record something or when you're working on something, sometimes it takes too long, and by the time it gets out, you don't even have any enthusiasm with it anymore.
Jay Diggs was talking about that last time he was on last episode. He said, man, he was a part of course he recorded it, he mixed it, he mastered it himself, and now he can't even listen to it.
Yeah. It's like, I want to hurry up and get it done, so we can at least appreciate it. We don't want it to be, and it's cool though, because the songs that are on the new record, we have never played them live. Oh yeah, we have never played them live. We're gonna, when it's time to play those songs, we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna play them damn songs. What I'm saying?
Well, that adds that. At least that'll keep you interested.
Absolutely,
it'll definitely keep you interested and on your toes.
Absolutely,
that's amazing, man. Look. Brain fart for a second. Either way, look, brother, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Yes, dude, this is amazing. I'm glad we can finally get this done. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Suli of Marshall Fuzz. He has a show this Friday at Cafe 611 in Frederick, Maryland. I'll more than likely put this episode out tomorrow, so they will know well before then.
Awesome.
And look, man, I wish you the best.
It was a pleasure.
I will definitely be there this Friday, because I ain't got nothing to do. Plus, I'd rather see you anyway.
Cool.
Marshall Fuzz, simply amazing. You got that from me. See you guys later.
Peace out.
All right, fam. Thanks once again for tuning in to another episode of the O on God podcast. Big shout out to Suli. Make sure to follow him on social media and check out his band, Marshall Fuzz. Till next time, I'm your host, Tovaun Anthony, and I wish you nothing but health, safety, peace, love, and blessings.